I know he was videotaping everyone. I want the tape of Trump with the girls.
Oh my God.
She didn't deny the existence of the tapes, but said, I don't know where they are. He apparently replied, ask Epstein, and she gave him a stern look and pointed a finger at my face. I'm the daughter of a press baron. I know the way you people think. If you do one side, you must do the other. If you get tapes on Trump, you have to do Clinton. It's sourced from Jeffrey Epstein. Quote, if I said what I know about both candidates, they'd have to cancel the election. That's what Jeffrey told me in 2016. This is the worst cover-up of my lifetime, the Epstein case. The reason I'm talking about it so much is because if you can get away with this, you really can get away with anything. If the government can tell people to not believe what they just said a few months ago and have everyone be fine with that, that's just a level of gaslighting that I refuse to be a part of. Never forget, they just promised us names in the release of the Epstein files.
Breaking news right now, you're going to see some Epstein information being released.
What kind?
A lot of flight logs, a lot of names, a lot of information.
But in this case, in Epstein's case, it is incredibly disturbing. We have flight logs, we have information, names that will come out.
Is it going to be shocking?
I don't see how it's not shocking that there were so many individuals that were hidden and kept secret and not been held accountable.
Yeah, well, apparently there are no names to be given. No list, no blackmail. Epstein has now been pushed as a lone trafficker. It's the lone trafficker theory, guys. Essentially, the government's memo that they just released contradicts everything we've seen before and now basically implies that Epstein was trafficking to himself and Ghislaine Maxwell was trafficking to Epstein, and there was no other blackmail or trafficking going on. That's what this memo essentially implies. His wealth and his power then would be just from his skill as a New York financier.
I'm talking about Jeff Epstein, the New York financier.
Basically, he was the world's greatest tax advisor by day and the world's greatest trafficker at night to himself. And the rich and powerful people who all flocked to him and to his island had no idea of this double life.
Nobody knew.
That really is kind of the heart of the modern theory, is that just all Epstein by himself, and then his friends just were there for his tax advice, despite not being a tax professional or a lawyer. Not only that, another huge revelation is the fact that really the government has increased the number of victims and decreased the number of perpetrators, right? We had the idea that there were these other perpetrators for a while, that they were just redacted because the government was building cases. Now we got pretty clear statements that there isn't evidence to bring future cases on third parties. But if you look at the original 2019 indictment, it says dozens of victims. This is from Ken Klippenstein. But the Epstein review says over 1,000 victims. So what happened, guys? And by the way, in the interim, they also increased the number to 200 to 250.
200 victims, 200. So we have well over 250 actually.
So we went from dozens to 200 to over 1,000 in the span of basically a year in terms of victims. We like 10x the number of victims.
And and it's just
now
Epstein.
There's no perpetrators. Like the perpetrators have been reduced. That is the crazy thing about what they're implying here, what this lone trafficker theory is pushing forward. It's also strange because previously Epstein in a court filing is said to have provided information to the FBI as agreed upon. Case agent advised that no federal prosecution will occur in this matter as long as Epstein continues to uphold his agreement with the state of Florida. So apparently there was some deal where Epstein was providing information to the FBI. What information? We don't know because no one else was involved. There's also the simple fact that if you go to the FBI records, what they call the vault, most of the files are just heavily redacted. So the idea that we got some transparency wave is literally a joke. Yes, it is true. There's no Epstein list where there's like names written down, but names exist in documents, on videos, in images, and they're all redacted. What's going on here? They're gonna say, oh, it's all for the victims, right? But it's not all victim names. In addition to that, this lone trafficker theory is already on shaky ground.
And where are the victims, right? I'm not saying you need to like go out and like make them public, right? I'm not saying you need to bring them out to the forefront, but in terms of like private investigation, where are the victims? Where are like, can you not get the victims? Like, can you not contact them and be all like, hey, do you recognize this face? Do you recognize like, Jesus, get like 100 of like the most richest US people and just show them their faces or something. Like, there's gotta be, like, the victims had to have information. And where is it? Redact the names of the victims, yes, and identifying details. But like, the overall information is critical. And yet they're not putting it out there. Something is very wrong.
When you think about Prince Andrew's settlement with Virginia Giuffre, where he paid $16 million to make civil sexual assault allegations go away. Now, of course, it's worth saying that he did not admit to guilt. This was a settlement. But that is what you're always going to have with these rich and powerful people. In the same way, you also have Leon Black.
If he admitted to guilt, he wouldn't be settling.
Who reportedly paid $158 million over 5 years to Jeffrey Epstein for tax advice. And guess what? Leon Black, billionaire, also paid the U.S. Virgin Islands $62 million in cash as part of a settlement, a non-prosecution, where they wouldn't go after him for anything from, quote, any and all claims of any nature whatsoever, specifically related to Jeffrey Epstein. It's worth noting that $15 million of this cash payment will be going to counseling programs and activities or mental health services. You also have Jess Staley, the former boss of Barclays. He directly admitted to having sex with a member of Epstein's staff, which you would expect if someone was running a trafficking operation. Although, I just have to say that there was a statement that this was entirely consensual, and I'm not saying anything about that. I'm simply saying the idea that Epstein was just trafficking for himself is unlikely to be true, in my opinion. Later, Staley wrote to Epstein, "Say hi to Snow White." Epstein replied, "What character would you like next?" Staley responded, "Beauty and the Beast."
Oh my God.
And then Jeffrey Epstein said, "Well, one side is available." Obviously, some type of coded message. You can read into that for yourself. But all of this is public. That's what I'm trying to say. That's what makes the government's memo so infuriating. Is so much reporting has already been done. These settlements with powerful figures under denials, yes, but also under very questionable circumstances, make just a complete denial and statement that all of this was just Epstein impossible to believe. In September 2009, Epstein also emailed a woman named Irina to tell her that Jess Staley is staying in the Berkeley Hotel in London tonight. Staley emailed Epstein the next day to say, "I should have taken your offer," according to the Times. There's also this book by one of the 60 Minutes correspondents called A Ticking Clock, where he says that he met with Ghislaine Maxwell, and he said, "I want the tapes," I said to Maxwell at a table at Regency Bar. "I know he was videotaping everyone. I want the tape of Trump with the girls."
Oh my God.
She didn't deny the existence of the tapes, but said, "I don't know where they are." He apparently replied, "Ask Epstein," and she gave him a stern look and pointed a finger at my face. "I'm the daughter of a press baron. I know the way you people think. If you do one side, you must do the other. If you get tapes on Trump, you have to do Clinton."
If you're enjoying this video and you like to see bigger and better content, the only thing you need to do is hit subscribe and like, and I'll take care of the rest.
Now, again, what you make of a third-hand source like this, talking to Ghislaine Maxwell, who apparently doesn't deny that some of these tapes exist. Was she even telling the truth or just playing some game?
I mean,
either way, this was all known about, not just by people after the fact, but allegedly by people during the fact. This is from Mark Epstein. It's sourced from Jeffrey Epstein. Quote, "If I said what I know about both candidates, they'd have to cancel the election." That's what Jeffrey told me in 2016. So not even Jeffrey Epstein or Ghislaine Maxwell allegedly were claiming this was all just between them. They were constantly insinuating that there were compromising things on various powerful people. What's funny is that...
And it's hard to know exactly, I mean, you know, it's hard to know exactly what compromising things those are, right? Because just because they have compromising information doesn't mean that it's exactly what people are imagining it to be. But man, it does not look good. And the thing that makes this all so much worse is not all of the stuff that's out there that he's pointing out, that Epstein said and, you know, Maxwell said and this and that. It's not even that. It's the fact that Trump says, we're going to release the files. They're hiding some shit. We're going to release the files. When you see those files, it's going to be crazy. It's going to change the world. And then he gets power and he goes, yeah, there's no files. Sorry, the files don't exist. The files you're looking for are not here. They don't exist. That's what makes this look so freaking bad. And it makes all this other, tertiary, side stuff. All of a sudden, it makes you think, maybe this is as bad as, as you think, as you'd imagine. Maybe there was something going on here. Because Trump is certainly not making himself look good right now. And neither did Biden.
Trump himself, even before he was in a position to declassify this stuff, had accused other powerful people of doing these things.
Bill Clinton.
Nice guy. Got a lot of problems coming up, in my opinion, with the famous island with Jeffrey Epstein.
That island was really a cesspool. There's no question about it. Just ask Prince Andrew.
You also have the fact that Jeffrey Epstein was in touch with other convicted pedophiles.
Hey, he's just calling them out. He's just like, hey, he's ratting them out. But, interestingly enough, like Clinton could have came out and he could have been all like, well, actually the person that's, he's trying to talk shit about me, but actually it was Trump that was on the island. Like Prince Andrew could have come out and said, hey, it's actually Trump that was on the island.
Larry Nassar, he was writing letters. So the idea, once again, that he was just by himself, off by himself, doing things on his island by himself, and then taking calls with people like Bill Gates simply for philanthropic advice, really pushes the bounds of belief.
It was tax
Don't
advice.
Forget, a close associate of Bill Gates was named a fallback executor.
Wait, what? Over time, Gates and his team realized Epstein's capabilities and ideas were not legitimate, and all contact with Epstein was discontinued.
Jeffrey Epstein, which he, by the way, said he was shocked by and he deeply regrets meeting Epstein. Bill Gates has said similar things to that effect. Of course, Bill Gates fraternized with Epstein after he was convicted of crimes. Previously, he told the Wall Street Journal, I didn't have any business relationship or friendship with him. But in fact, he met multiple times with him at his Manhattan townhouse.
Oh, gee, I wonder why. But they're not friends, though. Clearly, it was for tax purposes, especially after he was convicted of sex crimes. Gee, I wonder why. Could it be that Mr. Gates maybe was like, hey, man, you've been convicted, and it's like, hey, can you just like not? Yeah, any stuff that we did, maybe I was in the island, maybe not. Can you just like not, don't bring any of that up? Any papers, any incriminating evidence, maybe, get that taken care of before things get even worse. I don't know. I'm just spitballing. But man, it does not look good for Mr. Gates either.
Now, once again, I have to say real quick, all of these people are innocent until proven guilty.
Yes,
all of them deny doing anything untoward. But my point is, there are already too many associations to make the lone trafficker theory make any sense. For example, Jean-Luc Brunel was somebody who apparently trafficked a bunch of people to Epstein, who himself abused a bunch of women and even was charged for it. He was charged for some really awful things and then later found dead in his cell. Interestingly, Epstein was actually
found dead in his cell. Does that ring a bell? Is it me, or like didn't that happen before? Didn't that happen to somebody related to this?
financier of Brunel's modeling agency where a lot of this alleged abuse happened. So once again, the idea of the lone trafficker just doesn't make sense because Epstein's directly linked to another guy who is also abusing women. So after all of this, they're really asking you to believe the unbelievable. They're asking you to not believe what they've said about this case, both out of office and now in power. They're asking you to not believe public reporting linking Epstein to other known files. They're asking you not to believe suspicious circumstances regarding settlements of powerful people. They're asking you to believe that Epstein was just the greatest tax advisor and financial advisor on the planet that all of these billionaires needed to consult, despite the fact that there are entire organizations built around providing the same services as this without
so much shaky ground.
Links to crimes. They're asking you to believe that when people are talking about Snow White and Beauty and the Beast, they're referencing Disneyland. And they're especially asking you to believe that they have found 900 new victims since reviewing these files.
And they were all just
and exactly
for Epstein.
0 new perpetrators.
Yeah, it was just Epstein.
So
I'm
just not buying it personally. I find it insulting to the intelligence of every single person who's ever looked at this story. And it really makes me feel like this was a appropriate time to launch a crime is legal merch collection, to be honest. So yeah, this is probably my last video on this for a while, but just disgusting.
It is absolutely effed, man. It is absolutely effed up. And the whole thing that like, oh yeah, Epstein like killed himself, you know, yeah, just like this other guy, apparently he was just found dead. Oh, it just happened to kill himself. You know, it's just so much shit that's just like the foundation is completely like, it's made out of fucking straw. And you're supposed to think, oh yeah, no, actually this is going to stand up to scrutiny, right? Like this is going to, like when they say actually there's nothing to see here, you're supposed to go, oh yeah, of course, it all makes sense. People need to keep inquiring forever until freaking something comes out.
Subscribe and like.